Set your butane torches to high and your expectations to low. Coming to you live from Just the Tip Cigars in the hills of the Steel City. Get ready to get your fix. This is the Cigar Junkies Podcast. Welcome to the Cigar Junkies Podcast, a cigar show for the community by the community. A forum to talk stogies, booze, food, and anything else in the cigar lifestyle. If you're looking for ratings, negativity, reviews, or authority on all things cigars, you came to the wrong place. Whether you like what you hear or not, please join the conversation and let us know by finding us at the Cigar Junkies Facebook group or emailing us at thecigarjunkies@gmail.com.
What's up, junkies?
I'm Corey.
I'm Sam.
And I am John Jason Jingleheimer Schmidt.
His name is my name, too. And you're listening to the Bumping Nogs podcast, the only podcast with Jeff Scales skydiving with men. I don't know. I didn't have enough time to figure out where the trajectory of that was going. So
Didn't have it settled, as it were.
yeah. I tried just taking a turn at it. You know what I mean?
I digs it.
So if you're watching this, you're a junkie too. Well, we're taking it back. It's a good thing. Hang out with us every Sunday morning, usually at 9:30. We do the show live. You can be one of the cool kids like Troy Harper, like Marcy Curcio, Jeff Scales, Debbie, and I think it's everybody. They look like more numbers. And then we got the crabby ass Ryan Seneca over here as well.
Grumpy cats. No?
How was your week?
Eh,
Or no?
No. Cigar.
What are we smoking today?
Ooh.
It's fine. It's time for the Cigar of the Week, brought to you by Just the Tip Cigars. Are you looking for the best selection of boutique cigars? Do you want the tried and true legacy brands that are synonymous with the cigar lifestyle? Do you want luxurious cutters, lighters, and other accessories? Do you want to relax in the most comfortable cigar lounge in the burg? Then you want Just the Tip Cigars. Conveniently located in the Bavarian Village Shopping Center in South Park, Pennsylvania, Just the Tip Cigars has been tailor-built to your smoking needs. Whether you visit in person or on the web at justthetipcigars.com. When it comes to cigars, Just the Tip is the whole package. Fortunately for us, Just the Tip had the cigar that I have notes about. That's super convenient.
As confusing as that was early on.
He tried pulling the old switcheroo, just like the guy that was bumping knobs with Jeff. We are smoking the Plasencia Reserva Original. This is the 5.75 by 56 Cortez. That reminds me of something I'll have to write down. This is a Nicaraguan Puro. What does that mean, Sam?
It is all Nicaraguan tobaccos. So that's it. That's the simplicity of it.
Binder, filler, and wrapper.
Ooh. That's it.
Ooh.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, I'm still, like, I'm trying to write a note to myself to talk about, but I'm just going to talk about it because I also can't bring, I got it. Okay, Uncharted. When I hear Cortez, that was what immediately came to my mind. And, yeah, I don't know if you guys have ever played any of the Uncharted games. What I really appreciate, like, I'm not a big fan of third-person games, like, for shooters. I'd rather it be a first-person shooter.
Right.
But the Uncharted, especially 4, man, very, very good storytelling. It is very much like the modern day Indiana Jones. I know you're never going to get to it. No, I know you won't.
It's not even close.
I don't even know if like that third person action. Are you into like Tomb Raider? Were you ever into like that those sorts of games?
Sure,
Jason?
like Tomb Raider. I liked. What the hell was it? Prince of Persia more than I liked.
Prince of Persia was cool, but that's a little more God of War, isn't it?
Not the original ones.
Okay, I don't know which one I played,
never
but I did
Prince of
play
Persia.
a Prince of Persia, and it was a great game.
Yeah.
I think that's actually only one, really.
Okay, so back to the cigar.
Hey, cigars. Okay, we could do that. You guys always trying to keep it cigar related. I hope you guys can add some input because I only got so much. Now, here are some interesting facts about Plasencia. To this point in time, Plasencia is the only certified organic cigar on the market, which I don't really get.
Yeah.
The whole organic thing kind of screws with me a little bit. Does organic mean something about pesticides or something?
From what I understand, it's there's a list of variables like pesticides being one of them. Growing conditions, like was it grown in the sun or was it grown in a greenhouse? Like there's a lot of. Again, I am going with my impression here. I don't actually know.
Did you grow it in your linen closet with lights?
Yes, which I have a customer doing right now, which is hysterical.
If
tobacco. He's grown a tobacco plant in his house.
No smack.
Just for fun.
Yeah.
He's like, I just wanted to try it. I'm like,
hey,
you know what?
If you ever if the three of us ever wanted to try that, I don't know if it would still work, but there was kind of this weird, cool product for a little while by Asylum. So Christian Aroa, and it's Grow Your Own Asylum. And it was like, if you bought so many, you got this little thing, and it is a metal canister that has sealed seeds and like soil and all the crap that you need to plant your own tobacco. So I have Aroa tobacco at my home.
Oh wow!
In a sealed container. The problem is, you take the lid off. Man, that bastard smells bad.
Really?
Yo, the manure or the fertilizer.
Oh,
smells horrible.
Yeah,
but I have the tin. It's a cool tin.
Yeah, that's cool shit.
It's got like
I got real close.
Damn. You said it the first time. The second time, you almost did.
I did catch myself, but at the point of the wrong. The consonant never made it there, but I did hit the vowel hard.
It's gonna be a good show. You never, Sam, hear him backpedal this hard this early.
That's some word salad there, Corey.
I know.
Are we still on this cigar?
I'm not sure how to interpret that question. We are still smoking this cigar, yes.
Keep
more
on about it.
I see, because he was like looking at the notes as a professional might, which threw me.
What?
Because he was like, you've got more information here.
There's more.
So I've got a little bit of generational information here on the Plasencia family, or whatever. 1865, Don Eduardo, I love that, Plasencia, left the Canary Islands in search of success and opportunity and started growing tobacco in Sam? Thank you for struggling
Vuelta
too, because I'm looking at that going, I don't know.
It should not be as complicated as it appeared. But Vuelta would be
that
my guess.
Actually like kind of sounds
Vuelta abajo Cuba.
Oh, Mr. Fancy Pants over here.
Vuelta abajo.
Yeah. Them years in Chile did you something.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
Speak like a little Spanish.
All that time gave you something other than garbage bags full of empanadas or whatever it was.
Yeah, garbage bags full of empanadas. Those were delicious. Anyway.
Oh, I definitely thought there was a gonorrhea reference coming.
Show one day. I would love to come in here and just have a garbage bag full of empanadas and smoke and eat. Let's go. Did he mute me or did he play it?
I muted myself while I was chewing the ice.
Fair. No, fair enough. I was like,
what did I do?
Pretty much, yeah.
Like I get it sometimes, but this one didn't make sense.
Empanadas is one of them trigger words, I guess. I don't know. He had bad times too in Chile, you know. Not all good times.
All right. So what did he do when he got to Cuba?
I don't know. He probably planted some tobacco. In 1898, Don Eduardo's nephew, Sixto Plasencia Juarez, that sounds like a nickname, I'm pretty sure, joined his uncle in the family business. In 1920, Sixto Plasencia Juarez expanded the business and opened, I think, I wasn't sure if they if they typoed Corojal. Corojal. Apparently, that's the thing. Yeah. They opened the Corojal farm. In 2015, the Plasencia family became the largest tobacco grower for premium cigars in the world and continued growing their teams, factories, plantations in Honduras, Nicaragua, and Nicaragua. I don't know why I skipped that. I thought there was going to be a third thing. Producing 40 million cigars a year. That is like a lot. 10% of the U.S. import.
Oh, really?
Of American cigars. So what I know of U.S. Importation of cigars is we smoke more premium cigars than anybody else in the world. With the number is beyond 400 million, but it's still, I think, between 400 and 500 million per year that we smoke. And like, I'd like to think that I'm a small part of that because I smoke a lot of them.
I contribute to the cause.
Ask Trey Mac. There's a plaque somewhere. With like, like this kid graduated Honduras college because of me. Pretty sure.
You've paid for a couple, huh?
At least a bachelor's.
Oh.
The internets say about 8.6 million Americans smoke cigars.
Yeah.
Premium cigars is a differentiator.
Oh.
Yeah, that does add a thing to it.
Yeah. Because like backwoods and black milds don't count.
So with this type of Figurado, I'm just trying to catch it before we actually got around the curve, which we did not do. But you can see the shape of that ash. That's not like tapped and all that stuff. So it comes down to a Figurado at the end. When you're smoking these, just light it and let it burn crazy. Like, I don't think any of us had it go wild. Like, always just wait till you get to the turn before you touch up.
Yes.
And that's why I was hoping you were not as far along as I was.
I don't know where my ash went.
It's right there.
It's probably, I can actually.
His ash will gone, duh.
My.
No? Too much? Okay. It's
treading carefully is what I'm doing here. Yeah, man. Like, you're not wrong. When you are smoking a Figurado cigar, there's going to be non-perfect burning.
Yeah. Figurado, Salomon, like it's part of the game.
Well, Figurado is a term for any shaped cigar.
Right.
It is not the standard just Toro, Robusto, whatever, like a normal straight cigar. So if you were smoking anything else, I could be wrong there because you're looking at me like I'm wrong and I might be wrong.
It's been a while since I read up on this side of things, so I'm not arguing with you. I don't remember.
So to be fair to Sam and everybody else that's questioning my judgment, that tequila hit me a little bit early.
Yeah?
Yeah, it hit me a little bit hard, and I'm going to chill and wait for myself to catch up before I go back to it. So Sam, for the rest of the show, Sam is the expert until I say otherwise.
But no, yeah, like I get a lot of people that'll, I'll see them touching it up real early, and it's like, dude, just wait a minute. Like, wait till you get, with these where they close a little bit. Wait till you get to where it gets to the cigar's desired
the meat of it.
Yeah.
Actually, Jason's cigar is probably better than mine, but I dropped my ash. I dropped the cherry. But like, this is a pretty good representation. Thank you, Jason. You have a very nice representation of how well that cleaned up.
Yeah, I mean,
initially,
Sam's is really good.
Yeah, mine's laser beam.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think I just got
that actually might be the best one I've ever.
I got a little excited and lost my cherry early.
So it's now time for, since we were smoking these cigars, we also have pairings that go with them.
No. These are just beers that I had. These were not intentionally bought for this.
Oh, these weren't intentionally bought for this? Okay.
Is it wrong that I get excited because somebody else is taking charge?
So we have the Fatheads Brewery, which I believe is a Pittsburgh brewery.
Yep.
We have the Headhunter India Pale Ale, the Headhunter IPA. Its ABV is 7.5%.
Yeah, it's toasty.
It's IBU, which if you don't know what IBU is, that is generally speaking a higher IBU beer will have a more bitter taste than a lower IBU beer. And it's OG, which is
original gangster.
It's a representative of measured solids in the wort before fermentation to consistently arrive at the same alcohol content of the beer. Its OG is 16. The hops that are contained in the Headhunter IPA are Simcoe, Centennial, Mosaic, Citra,
Chinook,
sure. And its malt is pale, C15, Serapils. Yeah, well, I'm dyslexic.
I'm trying to help you out here without being invasive. I'm like, no.
So which one is it?
I'm not telling.
Oh, yeah, I'll be able to tell you.
Yeah, that's part of the fun. Like I figure between the two.
The Headhunter is this one.
Yeah. Lagunitas is such a unique smell that it's kind of like, yeah, here you go. But the Centennial hops does pull to the top.
So we're gonna give the old. Well, first off, what do we think of the cigar?
Go ahead, buddy.
Straight out, I am influenced by the other things that are on my palate. However, with that being said, I got a little bit of a tasting note upon the initial draw, which is always exciting for me because that does not often happen.
Sure.
There was a little toasted marshmallow there. I don't know if that's accurate. It could be impacted by the things that I'm drinking. But a great start.
Yeah. No, mine started slow. I've smoked this before a couple times. I've never had one where I really didn't get much of anything until, I got a little further down. Now that I'm into it, I get like a citrus to it. I know that sounds dumb, but I get like a citrus to it. But it's like just subtly there.
So, this mostly comes from other folks that have influenced me during my process of enlightenment during my journey of premium cigar smoking. But citrus and pepper are sometimes very, very close to the same thing on people's palates.
Yeah.
Right. Well, especially when it comes to tobacco, because you're just looking to relate it to something else.
Something, yeah.
Right. And those things are often very borderline of each other. So although I'm not necessarily feeling that, I do understand your.
Yeah, no, it's but like when you said you're not sure if you're right or not, that's the fun of it, right? You're always right. If you tasted it, you're right. Like,
come on, man, you gotta. Hey, Kobe, Pam.
Woo!
Sorry, guys.
Yep, you get it.
Yep,
very excited.
There it is.
Hey, that wasn't a woo. That was a hey.
It was a modified
What
woo.
you should have did
it's a modified.
It was wooish.
Hey, what's that guy?
Andre 3000,
Yeah.
the Outcast.
That's
Yeah.
a cool name.
Oh yeah.
Anytime you have a four numbered thing after your name, that you're good. You're cool.
He's like, I love the Padron 1926. So where are you at on the stick?
I'm a 64 man.
64.
I'm a little off center, but that does not bother me. That's not something that I'm OCD about. I don't immediately run to my lighter and try to make it as flat as possible. This thing pulls like a truck, man.
Yeah.
It's got great production.
That's
smokes.
like, I'm sorry. That was a hot way to describe it, dude.
Smokes like a truck.
Pulls like a truck.
Pulls like a truck.
Yeah, dude. I'm like very on board with your. First of all, let me just step back for 1 second because I've been trying not to step on anybody else. I'm not good at it. We know I'm not. I am really impressed with Jason this morning. It turns out
he's on point.
It turns out when you throw beer into the mix, this guy comes in hot. Like he's on top of
He's
stuff.
ready to go.
Which makes me think like maybe I should put a couple of beers in the work fridge because this guy would get some stuff done.
I probably would, yeah.
Yeah, why they don't let us do that, I don't know.
They used to back in the 70s.
Probably reasons.
Used to be encouraged.
Yeah,
I'm
used to
sorry.
be encouraged.
My interruption was egregious.
So,
please continue.
Yeah, like I said, this cigar, it draws incredible. It's not super punchy.
No.
But it has a very, very complex flavor. I'm getting a lot. I got the toasted marshmallow, like Corey had said. I get a little bit of wood, not cedar, maybe like kind of like a woody taste.
Wasn't listening. Sorry.
And I don't know, maybe like leather. I get a little bit of leather there too.
Yeah, I definitely see the earthiness. Like the citrus that I got is fading, so it was just a fly by night for me. But no, I definitely more not earthy, but like that, the wood, leather, that side of things. You don't get the espresso, the coffee, and chocolate. None of that is coming through at all. What's cool is like this size specifically. It's the only one I carry, the original, because it's that much better than the other sizes of it.
Okay.
Like it,
I have relative information.
Yeah.
I believe this has been said before, but Evan Eggert, whom we all know, had always recommended, like, if you were going to buy something online or something of a questionable quality, buy the Figurado, because it takes a much more skilled roller
right
to make this cigar.
Oh,
So
sure,
the Figurado is always going to be, no matter where you are in terms of manufacture, it is going to be the most skilled roller making that cigar, and it hasn't let me down. For the most part, the Figurado, even on if you have like construction issues on the other cigars, this is going to be the one
it's gonna hold up.
that is going to be perfect because it takes more skill to do it.
Yeah. No, it's 100%. Like it's going to take someone with a higher quality level to be able to make something that's more complex, right? So your chances of having a good experience are better. You know, I've definitely had Figurados where like I didn't like the cigar, or Perfecto actually is the one that comes to mind. Like I didn't like the cigar at all, and then had it done again, and it was like no burn issues, no problem. So like it can be a double-edged sword because it's more complex. Even having the better roller might not fix it or help you on it.
Colby and Pam, have you guys met Jason before?
I think one time.
Because I expressed excitement to Jason that you guys were coming,
He did for sure.
and Jason did not seem to know. So Colby and Pam are junkies long before you.
Oh yeah, they're OGs.
Unfortunately, some better life opportunities led them to migrate to the Maryland area. And every time they
Lands
come back
beyond.
to Pittsburgh, it brings us endless joy.
Wonderful.
So you'll have to get you some hugs later. As Sam does virtual hugs.
So,
I want virtual. Can I have a real hug?
Ah,
Ryan Senecal.
so I haven't done the beer with it yet.
I haven't yet. I wanted to talk about the beer first.
Which one do I
And
want
then
first?
you
the,
want-
the lighter one?
Yeah, the smaller cup.
Okay.
Yep. You want this guy?
Okay.
Well,
I'll
yeah,
drink
hold
that
on.
in a moment. You guys
He's,
talk about
he's
it.
doing his hugs up. Sorry.
This is exciting. I wish I had like a turning camera.
I'm tempted to try, but I don't think it's going to end well.
Nah, it'll be all.
Don't ask for something you don't want.
So
Don't.
I'm waiting for him to pull a Mickey Peg on that power supply right now. Though.
Yeah.
That's he's so close. I was waiting for you to Mickey Peg it.
To make what?
To Mickey Peg it.
To pull out the
Pull the extension cord.
Yeah. Pull the power out.
You kept stepping over, and I'm
And
like,
then
no,
everything shut
no.
down.
I am
no,
so
no.
glad I did not react based on my interpretation of what you said, because it would have been a different thing.
Different pegging.
Yeah, no.
Different type. So.
So,
let's,
yeah. So yeah, give it a sipsy and see what you think.
Siplicious.
Definitely
Let's
sniff
throw
it,
it,
like
yeah.
smell it a lot first, because it's wide open on the nose.
I am not as nearly as experienced when it comes to beer drinking as the two of you guys. Like, I'm pretty like, hey, I got a keg of Yingling in the house.
Yeah.
Right. This, to me, aromatically reminds me of Blue Moon. Is that relatively
No, I
accurate,
can see it from the citrus and the hops.
Sure.
It's not going to taste anything like it, but you know,
I
off the
haven't
nose,
drank-
yeah, you're going to have that sweet citrus to it.
Yeah. If this isn't a type of beer that you were like, to me, this smells nothing.
Yeah.
Like Blue Moon. Like Blue Moon's got a more of like a Blue Moon's got a more of a weedy smell to it. And this is 100% like grapefruit, citrus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, I agree. Like, but I think they both have that citrus too.
Yeah,
though.
for sure. They're-
And that you getting that sweet fruit out
Mhm.
of it, but then it kind of ends there, and that's where you get into like the different malts, the way that they're set up, completely change it. But yeah, salud.
Salut. I'm real confused because I looked at the chat room for the first time in a little while, and Jeff says that's good info, Corey, and that just doesn't
I don't have it
seem
on there.
right. to
I think
me.
he's talking about the Figurado
oh,
conversation.
Okay. I'm like, I don't think anything I've said has been coherent, let alone educational.
Uh-oh. And
So
Chris Scales has a question for me. Go ahead, Chris Scales. But yeah, let's keep going.
sure. So this
Actually goes really well.
the cigar mutes the beer a little bit. It takes a little bit of the for those who don't like IPAs. This takes a whole lot of the bite out of it.
Yeah, so I just did back to back. I hadn't taken a draw off of my cigar for a little while, and I just went straight into the beer. And there was a lot of sweetness with a little bit of a delay, and then the bitter portion came in afterward. And I do think there is a significant change and at least the sweetness of having taken a draw from the cigar and then going back. So it's definitely having an effect. I would like to ask you, do you like this? Like this circumstance, I think, puts you a little bit in the driver's seat and definitely puts me in the least experienced column. And like I get to see your freak flag flying over here. Like you're like, hey, I know things about this.
Nerded up.
I am an IPA enthusiast for sure. Yeah. I am an IPA enthusiast for sure. And any time I go to a place that has like an IPA that I haven't tried before or something like that, but I'm buying it. And sometimes you get the bear, sometimes the bear gets you. But
we should drink every time he says that, because he says it like once per show.
So we would drink once per show?
Yeah, it's kind of boring.
Yeah, like concept, I get where you were going with.
Yeah.
But no,
sure,
not for it.
That's my catchphrase.
That's your pull string.
It is. Yeah. So I'm gonna get. My next tattoo is gonna be a bear, like eating a person.
Yo, actually, what might be,
and then a person eating a bear.
That's cool. You're moving into something that I can appreciate. But like I was like, oh, like that might be my very first original tattoo idea, is just to tattoo like a pull string coming out of the middle of my back with the little ring hanging from it. Have you ever seen it? I haven't.
No. I've not caught that one.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
No, I'm picturing your bear tattoo now.
Uh-huh.
And you've got, a black bear going like this, and he's eating a guy feet first who's in return yin-yanging.
Oh.
Sometimes you eat the bear, sometimes the bear eats you.
What the heck is that
It's
called?
a circle of consumption. I don't know what it's actually called.
It's a circle of life.
Oh, you got Pam over there. You got immediately, like if she had a Bic lighter handy, she'd have been like
Mufasa.
Insta. Go ahead. Yeah, say that one.
Wait, I want to see a visual representation. Your
Ouroboros.
entire back, shoulders down to your waistline, of Bear beats Battlestar Galactica.
Bear beats Battlestar Galactica. Yeah,
he got that reference. No, for Sam.
It's from The Office.
The Office.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
not it.
The Lego version of that skit is the best. There's a Lego version. It's pretty fantastic.
So the Headhunter, it's great with this cigar, and I already kind of feel that we also have Lagunitas, just their IPA,
A lot less intense aroma.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. It is a little. It's a little weaker. It's a 6.2 ABV. Its IBU is 51 compared to the Headhunter's IBU of 80. And if you don't remember what that means, that's the more bitter taste. The higher that number, the more bitter the taste.
Yeah.
I do prefer this beer to the first.
Its OG is a little less than the Headhunter. It's 13.5, which means it has less solids that were in the wort as it was being brewed. Which
actually adds up because, I mean, generally, the more solids you have, the more feeding you have for the yeast, the higher the alcohol content.
Correct.
So your OG, your original gravity, I believe is what OG is.
Yes.
Is going to be, based on how much, how densely packed the original wort was with solids for the yeast to feed on to create the alcohol. I don't know what I'm getting in this cigar, but it has me absolutely perplexed. I've been sitting here for like probably 3 to 5 minutes, just like pondering. I got something different out of the cigar all of a sudden. I'm like backing off the beer because I want to know what it is and I can't figure it out.
While you try, unless Jason, please.
I was going to say I'm kind of on the same page with you with that. I am also, the cigar's profile has changed slightly, and it's not bad. It's good.
No, I like it a lot.
It's better than bad. It's good.
It's log.
It's log.
So the Lagunitas also has the C hops. They just use the Centennial and the Centennial, Cascade, and Chinook, which I believe are also in the Headhunter. But the
I don't think there's Cascade in the Headhunter.
Well, let's go look. There is no Cascade in the Headhunter.
Cascade is my favorite hop when
Is
we
it?
were brewing, by far. Like that, we did when we were brewing beer. We would all take like hop sample packets, so like they have pellets, and we would all take like a pellet or two and crush it up and put it in oatmeal in the morning so that we could learn the profiles of the different hops. Cascade, it was always just my favorite, and that's that unique Lagunitas smell and taste that all their stuff has really depends on that. It uses that a lot. You know, Chinook's going to be a lot less effervescent.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, it's a much thinner profile hop. Centennial, if I remember right, was just sweetness.
Yeah, Centennial's like it's the quintessential hop.
It's going to be in most
everything.
Yeah. And then the Cascade is incredibly unique in the way that it tastes. So always has been my favorite.
While these gentlemen
nerd out completely, sorry about that.
Out on
we just like left you completely on that one,
which is probably beneficial for the average listener. But while you continue to engage your palate and try to determine where you were at, I'd like to go back to the chat room. First of all, I'm going to say Troy and I just connected on a spiritual level because Troy says he's a huge fan of tequila with his cigars. Some IPAs are okay with cigars. So like virtual time zone bridging across the states, high five to Troy Harper because my man's down with the tequila. Now, I think you teased it earlier and never actually got back to it once she put her question down.
So
Chris Scales.
My chat isn't updating.
Well,
I'll
read it.
I appreciate it.
And then we can respond, which this is going to be an easy one, I think. Chris asks, why does a hard tack candy help if nicotine sickness kicks in? I needed one last night, but no hard candy in sight. Damn. I guess Jeff was tired from his skydiving, I guess, you know. I heard that you have a bowl of candy in your shop.
Yep. Yeah. So we always keep like fun dips and stuff like that in here for exactly that reason. One thing, so I don't know the reason why it works the way that it does.
I do.
Great. Go ahead.
So what happens is when you take in a lot of nicotine, it has an effect on your body that is very similar to a low blood sugar level. So your body responds when you have a high input of nicotine, particularly, you know, beyond what you're used to, because we all have tolerances. If you're smoking something really in your face, in terms of that, like we always talk about flavor to strength ratio, strength is how it makes you feel, not how it tastes. So if you have a lot of nicotine, it's going to kind of trick your body into thinking that your blood sugar is low. And so the second that you can intake any type of sugar, we always recommend, if you need to, maybe in your travel humidor, pack of sugar. All you got to do is put that underneath your tongue, and your body is pretty much going to instantaneously go, okay, I have the sugar that I need to level out my insulin or, you know, blood sugar in my body, and it's going to take away that adverse reaction that you have from the tobacco overload or nicotine overload, not tobacco. My apologies.
So something it's on my list of things to learn more about right now is after we did the event with Paul at Liberty Pool last month, you know, he was talking about the difference between nicotine sickness and like what it really takes to get like actual nicotine sickness is a massive amount of nicotine. Like,
shout out to the old Camacho Triple Maduro.
Well, but no, that's actually bringing me around to what he was getting at. He's like almost always to get nicotine sickness, you're talking, you got, you know, a dip in from here to here, you're smoking a cigarette, smoking a cigar, all at the same time. And even that's going to be difficult to get true nicotine sickness. You said the majority of the time it's the ammonia from the under fermented tobaccos, which is why like the old Triple Maduro was definitely going to run under fermented on it because it was such a dense tobacco to begin with.
Yeah, even especially with the extra... when my apologies,
no, go ahead.
But so when you say Triple Maduro, what they're saying is the Maduro represents not just the wrapper, but also the binder and fillers, which is not traditional.
Right.
So you've got heavy, thick leaves the entire way through the
which
cigar.
are going to hold that ammonia more densely.
And like a wrapper, I could see where you're coming from because the fermentation process on a Maduro cigar is generally, if it's done the right way, is going to be sweeter because they go through the extra fermentation to remove the ammonia, the nitrates, the excess rough things from the cigars. But at some point in time, somebody shortcutted that system and kind of tricked the general populace of cigar smokers into thinking darker meant stronger. And somewhere along the way, cigar companies said, okay, they expect a darker cigar to be stronger and more in your face, so that's how they blend them.
Right.
But if you get like a traditional, really well made Maduro cigar, my mind goes to the Leaf by Oscar. Like, you're going to get sweetness, you're going to get palate engagement, not necessarily strength out of it.
So one of the misconceptions that I have learned about recently for that is, okay, yes, the darker leaf is stronger, right? And definitely air quotes on that for anybody's listening and not watching, but
Stronger in flavor?
In every way. But when you're going to age tobacco, you're not going to start with a tobacco that's passive to begin with and then make it more passive. You're going to start with something stronger. So if it starts at a 10 and you age it down to a 6, now you're going to get the sweet notes and stuff like that. It's like a scotch or, you know, a bourbon or something like that, where a wine, where the more time you give it, the complexity becomes all that you're seeing, and you're not getting washed out by, you know, an overload of alcohol hitting your palate or, you know, other things like that. You're condensing the flavors down to just get the flavor out of it, where you're, you know, the fermentation's doing essentially the same thing by taking more of the ammonia out, taking more of the, you know, byproducts and the off gassing out of it and allowing it to get to that point. So the darkness, yeah, it represents strength because the leaf started so high on the strength profile and it's been brought down to the beginning of whatever a reasonable level is. So let's say that, you know, the highest strength cigar that someone can smoke ends up being at an 8. They're going to start with a tobacco that's at a 10 and bring it down to that 8. They're not going to hope that you smoke it fast enough or rush fermentation, you know, and just under ferment. I mean, there's companies that do that and they utilize it well. I don't want to downplay that. But most of the time when you get the head rush or you get the nausea off of a cigar, it's ammonia consumption.
Okay.
From an under fermentation. Have you guys ever done the purge with the lighter into your cigar?
What?
Yeah, a purge.
But you hold the light.
Yeah.
So this cigar, because of construction, I highly doubt that it'll work.
Yeah, real quickly, I'm going to, while you show it, I'm going to tell Jason. So a purge on a cigar is whenever you blow through instead of pulling in, right? That's purging your tobacco. But he's essentially talking about purging, so blowing out while the lighter is on the foot of the cigar, retoasting or toasting initially.
Yeah. So all I'm going to do is hold my lighter about that far in front of it, and I'm going to blow through, and you'll see probably with this one a very little, but you'll see a green flame pop up.
And while he does that, I'm going to hurry up and chime in on what he's saying.
Actually, there was a massive amount came out of it, but
or not.
Sorry, yeah, no, it caught me off guard. It like it flared, and I was
not window there. I'm gonna turn it back over to you.
It flared.
Hey, you mean wooed? So
how wooed?
Essentially, two real quick things to tack on to you is that, like, if you're aging cigars in your own humidor and you're going through essentially what is an extra fermentation process, if you don't have something that has some strength to it to the beginning, by the time you're done aging that cigar, there's not going to be much left to enjoy of it. It's going to be pretty bland. And with that being said, generally speaking, almost all the time, you're not going to select a shade tobacco to do extra fermentation, because that is generally, if it has less sunlight, right, less nutrients, then you are going to start with a thinner leaf. And you need a robust leaf to deal with the punishment of the fermentation, because they have them in polones, and it's essentially kind of the same thing as if you not mulch, but what's the thing I'm thinking of when you put your dead stuff in the yard and an area
where you reclaim
compost.
Compost.
So that breakdown of the material organically creates heat, right? So they have to constantly rotate to, just like compost, to keep the heat from building up too much. The tobacco takes a beating.
Yeah.
So you have to have a thick leaf to start with that's going to take that abuse and not be ripped up and screwed by the time you get to it.
Yeah, for sure. Now, you know, with the shade leaves, they're generally going to be thinner and all that, you know, but there's a lot of cigars out there that run a shade leaf that do age well. So like there's no, you know, just like with everything else, there's no
Maduro out of them.
Even if you did, you're not going to get the darkness out of it. So like it's not going to look like what you're thinking of as a Maduro because, again, we said it 10,000 times. It's mature.
Yes.
So how long has it been aged? It becomes a Maduro simply by age.
Maduro translates to mature.
Right.
So it's essentially just saying like, hey, this is an older tobacco, not a darker tobacco.
Correct.
However, usually during the process, the tobacco is going to become darker than it was initially.
Yeah, because it's, there's still chemical process happening in the cigars all the time. They're still alive in a sense, right? Like they still are, and when I was talking about the ammonia, like that's one thing to clarify. Like there's ammonia in everything, food, all of it, anything natural product is going to have an ammonia level to it. The ammonia is what holds the cigar together. If you didn't have ammonia in it, it would be dust. That's it. Like that's essentially, and I'm summarizing a lot, but like it's basically the binding agent that holds things together. So you need ammonia in there. So don't be scared of, you're not consuming the ammonia from under grandma's cabinet with this. We're talking microscopic amounts, but it still has a giant effect. Yeah. So I'm going to loop back to the beers real quick. Surprisingly, I really prefer the Fatheads with this to the Lagunitas. And Lagunitas is
that this one?
I have not tried the Lagunitas yet.
Yeah. I think that, one, like just having the beers, I prefer Lagunitas every time. Mostly for uniqueness. Like their taste profile on that beer is so unique comparatively.
And this is the more bitter of the two on my initial comparison. But now that I'm a little ways in, a little further into the cigar, it still has a more bitter, lingering aftertaste on the palate. But like the initial drink with the cigar is more pleasing than it was to me initially.
Yeah. Well, also you're acclimating to the IPAs. You're not used to these types of beers. It's a strong flavor. There's it is a potent flavor on it. I feel like the Lagunitas just doesn't hold up to the cigar as well. I think that if like we contrasted it with like a really, really heavy cigar or like a sweet Maduro, I think the Lagunitas would shine higher than the Headhunter at that point. But I think the bitterness is complementing the earthy woodiness of this a lot more.
The difference between what the cigar tasted like after the Fatheads and what the cigar tastes like after the Lagunitas, I think now it could just be a placebo effect.
Placebo and chia.
But I can taste the ammonia in the cigar a lot more after the Lagunitas than I got none of it after the Headhunter.
Let's I'm gonna write a note for myself to come back to that in a couple minutes, because after we stop talking about it, I'll ask you about it again and see if that's still the case, because I do think you're a sucker for the placebo on that one. Like, and I don't mean that in a bad way. We all fall for placebo.
Here, have a little.
No, because I'm absolutely that toasted marshmallow also is very.
It's there now.
Yeah, I was both your
waiting for you to finish this chain to say that, but
right in front there, man.
So while Sam takes his notes and while Jason has some time to alleviate himself from his notions that he has currently conceived, I've done too much homework to not, like, normally if we nerd out on something, I'll go, okay, let's bypass the tent poles.
Yeah.
But I did some research. I did some work.
He was prepared
on the cigar news. So we're going to talk about the cigar news right now.
Yeah, let's go. All right, it's time for the cigar news.
The cigar news brought to you by Corey Banks, the lone strum junkie. Do you like acoustic music? Of all of the acoustic acts in Pittsburgh, I'm one of them. You can hang out with me today in Armstrong Park over in Baldwin, where I will be playing some music for you. What's super cool about this event actually is there are I just kind of went, we need something to put it as a bumper. So I picked me. Cold Friends Kitchen, which is like a barbecue joint, has their food truck coming. My understanding is their pork belly is incredible. There's also going to be Vellum Fermentation showing up with their locally brewed beer, which I'm excited about as well. And then maybe the best of all, but not for my family, Beatles ice cream truck. Ooh. Yeah. Let's go. All right, guys. The first one on the list, My Father Cigars has announced a new limited edition release of its Jaime Garcia blend, known as the Jaime Garcia Reserva Especial Successor 2024 edition. Little much, guys. Can we chill on the freaking names? 2 words. Like, that would be okay. look like this. The successor 2024 edition is being released in 2 box press sizes with 1 size per blend. The first is a 6x56 Toro. That one is highlighted by a Sumatra wrapper. The second is a 6 1/8 by 52 Torpedo that uses Habano Rosado wrapper. Production comes from My Father Cigar, SA, and Esteli, Nicaragua. Both successor releases are limited to 5,000 14 count boxes per size. I'm going to say that again because it ran together a bit. 5,000 14 count boxes per size. So there's 10,000 boxes total. My Father Cigars hasn't informed retailers that pricing of the Jaime Reserva Especial successor is about 14.
Huh.
And then, something loses there.
Yeah, something was off a little bit.
I just copies it like gets it. So my apologies if that's not super accurate, but I think it'll be relatively so. General Cigar has begun informing retailers of the third installment of its CAO Arcana series, the CAO Arcana Thunder Smoke. That's awesome. That sounds like an 80s movie with a dope soundtrack.
Thunder Smoke.
Thunder Smoke now. The blend that General says is its first premium cigar to feature an all-African filler. African.
I'm actually excited for this.
3 different regions of Africa will be featured in this particular cigar. General says it's the first in the U.S. to incorporate South African tobaccos. Thunder Smoke features fillers from Cameroon, Zimbabwe, and South Africa. The remainder of the blend incorporates a Mexican San Andreas binder and Honduras San Augustine wrapper. Production comes out of Dominican Republic, and Thunder Smoke is a limited edition release that comes in 1 size. This is a 6.5 by 52 Toro. Pricing comes in at $12.99 and is scheduled to ship in September.
I can't even find any pictures of it.
Yeah, there's not much out there. It's just been announced.
For the video listeners, Jason is going to start preparing to bring up the images that I have prepared for this next one. Conspiracy Cigars, the brand that returns Quality Importers Trading Company back into premium cigar business, has begun shipping. If you're not familiar, Quality Importers is like Zycar. They primarily deal in accessories. Before they were picked up by another company, they did have, I believe, HC Cigars and a couple other ones that primarily shipped through the CI online retailers and so forth. But they are coming back. They're like, screw it. We're not just in the accessory market anymore. We're going to make cigars again. Conspiracy Cigars are made in the Dominican Republic's Casa Carrillo, the factory owned by Ernesto Perez Carrillo. They come in 2 blends, the Ecuadorian Connecticut and San Andreas Maduro. Each blend comes in 3 sizes, Robusto, Toro, and Gordo, with pricing ranging between $10.99 and $14.99. Go ahead and bring up the first image.
I can read.
I could have just kept going, but thanks for the stick in my spokes. Perhaps the most interesting feature, and this will be cool for Sam to weigh in on, is what Quality Importers has called its Swag Storm packaging option. That hits me in a place. I'm just going to say it. The retail repack option features a freestanding retail display to allow for single cigar sales. The repack includes 120 cigars, 20 cigars of each size and wrapper, a free Conspiracy branded clear acrylic 6-bin locking humidor display. That's a lot of syllables. And 120 Conspiracy branded cigar cutters. Consumers will receive 1 cutter with each cigar purchased, and the unit allows retailers to feature the full line of cigars without taking up excess shelf space, which I imagine you could probably appreciate. Can you appreciate it?
I can, but at the same point, so what you're doing is you're saving me shelf space, and now you're going to have me take up counter space.
You're building a monolith to your brand is what you're really doing.
Yeah.
And you're being like, hey, look at this glorious thing.
I'm seeing a lot more of this kind of stuff. I have 4 different brands that I can think of right now that are all looking to present this exact kind of thing. Like there's a display right now that's the one brand is putting out where it has an interchangeable backplate for it, and you feature a cigar of the month on it, and it's like, oh, that's cool. Now you're helping me put it on the counter and helping me to move it. So like, cool. But at the same point, like I'm limited on counter space here, guys. Like That's where I sell my lighters and eventually swag and stuff like that. So it's a give and take. It's not necessarily a negative, but the Toscano rack that I have here, like it takes up 18 inches by 12 inches of my counter at all times. There's nothing, I can't put anything else there. That's what it is now. So, each one of these types of things is great if you have, an island in the middle of your shop 35 feet long.
It depends on your retail space.
Now, probably once I'm more established, I'll be more interested in doing stuff like that because I'll have 25 of these things in the back closet and we'll feature one for the month and then swap it out with another brand and a different, there's ways to make it work, but it's a lot of work from our side to actually be able to utilize the package you're talking about. And you're talking about a new cigar that has no brand recognition yet. So like you need to get it in front of them, but I have to buy 120 of these things just to get started. Come on. I go back and forth on that.
But I mean, you could reuse that for other cigars later if it's not successful.
But now it's branded. Like it's a branded humidor. The brand is punched onto everything.
It's acrylic.
Yeah.
I mean, so you could kind of do what you want with it. To continue off of that, this is still on the first one. The Humidor series is an ongoing offering. It'll feature a revolving series of artwork and accessories to complement the detailed design of the conspiracy concept. Now, number 2 is the initial 20 cigar offering is packed in a Humidor Supreme 20-count travel humidor featuring a shore seal technology. The package also includes a humidification device and a conspiracy branded Zycar XI2 cutter. Then finally moving on to number 3, there is a limited edition Factum series. This is limited to 900 units. Each Factum unit features 10 cigars plus a conspiracy branded Paleo V cutter packaged in a mahogany chest with magnetic closures or a travel humidor. So you have 2 options on that one. Units have custom conspiracy artwork on the inside and outside of the box. That is my homework.
I dig it. And it's a very interesting way to approach it. From retailer's perspective, I'll be curious to see other people try it and watch how it goes and see how the success is for them on that.
What I really like is the options.
Yeah.
Because there's like a little bit of everything. And I think that is definitely them trying to think of the retailer and going like, okay, pick the thing, stock the thing that works for you. If you have the ability, do them all. If not, like maybe you've got limited space, but you do have space out in your shop. You could put this acrylic humidor out, and it's a great way to contain a lot of cigars in a small space, like particularly a lot of sizes. And I mean, who's to say once you sell out of that product, if it didn't seem super popular, you could always reuse it for something else if you were inclined to do so.
No, I mean, using a desktop or a benchtop humidor, that's not an original idea, right? But it's the way that they've set the package up is awesome. Like you said, it gives it options. You've got different presentations. I'd like to see a box though to go with it, just a regular cigar box for the shelf in the humidor.
Well, and that's where my curiosity comes in with the humidor and the magnetic locking, because it kind of sounds just like a cigar box with magnets in it. And as long as that's price approachable, that might be the way for the retailer to, even if you
display
can,
like, it out,
go like, hey, give me another bundle of these. I've got the humidor. It's what I'm using to display them in my walk-in.
But now you've got the commitment of I spent extra money when I bought those cigars to have that humidor. I'm essentially paying. I'm going to make up a number, $30 for a box. It's like, well, hold on, I don't want to pay $30 for the box. And then if I have a customer, it's like, oh, I'll take the whole box. And you're like, oh, that's great. I only had one of those laying here. So now, like, do I turn down the sale or do I not have the presentation?
My question is how much of a price difference does it make?
Yeah.
To purchase, because if it's relatively comparable to a box, that might be an easy sale for someone coming in looking for a box and go, hey man, this is like a reusable humidor,
and you stock a few boxes.
Yeah. If it only happens to be, if it's pretty close to what you would get to refill the acrylic, say you're paying $10 more, that might be an easy way for you to go like, oh, you're looking for a box. Oh, you got a wedding. Oh, you got a best man thing. This guy's reusable. Like you could reuse this. It's a cool packaging and all the other happiness.
Yeah, I mean, I like the acrylic humidors, especially like, you know, if it's a golf course and they just need a place to put, 12 different cigars that they have and they've got a bundle of each in it. Great. But you're putting cigars that have brand recognition in those. And that's where, from me. So let's say I put that on my counter and it does well for the first 3 months and, we buy in and then sales slow because it's not new and shiny anymore. Now, all right, I want to transfer that to the humidor and get that off my counter. Now it's going to end up in bins. Now every one of those is a hand sale again.
Sure.
And it's like, all right, how many hand sales cigars do I really want? Like I run boutique heavy, so a lot of my cigars are hand sale.
You know what would really help is if they followed the very seldomly done path of CAO. So CAO has a tendency to grab you with a concept. For example, the dad bod, right? You go, oh, the packaging is cool. It's a fun idea. And then you smoke the cigar and you're like, this is actually a great cigar, particularly for the price point.
Yeah.
So if they follow up with a really good quality cigar, then it might be incredible for retailers. But if they skimp on how good the cigar is, then essentially you're stuck with a bunch of gimmicky packaging, right?
And that's the problem in this industry is, there's so many combinations of the tobaccos out there being used now. There's not that many cigars that are wowing me when I smoke them anymore. Enough to grab my attention and just be like,
can we get a Owen Wilson that pops up in front of his head?
Wow. But yeah, it's one of those. It's the Plasencia 149 is the most recent one that I've tried that I was like, ooh, okay, because it has something unique about it. It's got pepper, and then the pepper goes away, and then it comes back again. Like that's really unique to me. That experience,
like Jeffrey.
it's unique in the way that it actually operates, and it's something about the cigar itself to make it unique. We've talked about on here before. The cigar box brings them over to it. The band puts it in their hand, and the cigar brings them back for another one. Like that's cigar marketing summarized. That's it.
A great way of putting that.
It really is. And what's really frustrating about the majority of the cigar industry is that you have a lot of people that do one of those things well, right? You either make a great product or you do a great job of capturing people's eye and making them want to try your product, but maybe the cigar isn't so great.
You know what?
Every once in a while, you get somebody that does all of those things, and that's what a retailer wants.
And then it's when it clicks, yeah.
It's kind of funny that you say that because what was last week's cigar?
I don't have those show notes anymore.
It was the one we had with the beers that had the nutty taste at the beginning of it.
Lennox.
Yes.
Lennox is a great. But actually, our last couple 412 is great too.
The band on the Lennox looked like it was printed on like an HP printer.
It's very matte, yeah. Their boxes are wild.
Yeah.
That alone, I would turn me away from it because the band doesn't look like it's a good quality.
Yeah, but here's the other side note of that.
It's a great cigar.
They come in a circular box.
Oh, that's right.
Which catches your eye.
Yeah, sure.
But it's horrible for a retailer because you've got an excess.
It's triple the width it should be.
Yeah. It is way more retail space than you would want to set up for that type of packaging, right? You get your cigars to packaging ratio is like a third.
Yeah.
It's a cool thing that catches your eye, but you're screwing your retailer.
Yeah.
And then if you go, okay, No.
I was just agreeing.
A different type of setup because it's a great cigar. Let me take in the cigar and ditch the box so I have room for more material. Well, then the band looks like crap.
Yeah.
So all of your packaging went away.
Yeah.
But if they put a little bit more effort into the banding and said, okay, let's emboss this. Let's give it a glossy finish on the band and make that band pop a little bit more, then you would have some options.
Right.
And that's a great example of hey, 2 out of 3 are great, but maybe not all of them.
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
No, and guys are getting really experimental about it. I mean, a lot of my reps over the last 6 months have been asking what improvements would you make to our boxes? Like they're just asking.
Syringe tubos.
Get after it. But no, a lot of that, like Apostate, they give individual bins for their cigars to go in, and then they sell them in bundles, and it stands out. They're like, here I have extra deep shelves, so it's not a problem. But like a lot of these guys don't have, they have 12-inch deep shelves. Well, the one for the Feathered Serpent is like 15 inches deep. Like it's so what do you do at that point? You can't display it. And I'm like, I love it, but you're bound because the cigar is the size it is, and you've created this system that's working well. Sure. But how do you continue with it? So like, it's going the right direction for most of these guys. But what was the one the other day? The customer brought one in the other day. He's like, hey, I just want to show you the band on this. And it was the worst cigar band I've ever seen. Like, it looked so terrible. And he's like, yeah, it's an $18 cigar. And I was like, no, it's not. Like,
with that band,
immediately it is not anymore. Because it looks like not even like an HP printer is an upgrade. We're talking some no-name
old dot matrix.
Yeah, like some dot matrix stuff where it's very matte. The colors are bled across the paper on it. Yeah. It's stuck on there, and like you can tell it's one of those bands that you're just going to keep peeling layer after layer of paper off, trying to get it off there.
That's what I love the like the Neanderthal and stuff like that. The Romacraft cigars, but their band is put on there with like steel banding. It's impossible to get those bands off.
You got to destroy it to get it off.
Which is a shame because they're beautiful.
So this may come across a little biased because it's a Pittsburgh-based company, but you know who actually hits it on all cylinders is Leaf by Oscar.
Yeah.
Because they sell their product in bundles, but they offer a chest where you have dividers for each of the different 4 leaves that they wrap the cigar in. The cigar is phenomenal. They wrap it in a tobacco leaf, which makes your brain jump out and go like, that looks different.
What is that?
Yeah. Everything else. I want to know what this is. And if you're intelligent enough to remove that before you cut and light it, it's a great experience. In addition to that, they also save themselves some money because both bands, because they have one that wraps around the tobacco leaf to hold it together. And once you remove that, there's a traditional band on the cigar, but both of them are made out of a paper that is recycled tobacco. Oh. So the band doesn't catch your eye, but the packaging of the cigar does.
Yeah.
And they make it very friendly to the retailer by going, okay, here's the thing that you could put all of our stuff in and just refill it and only pay for the packaging one time.
I'll agree with most of that.
Please feel free to.
I despise that chest.
Is the chest egregious?
Hate that chest. The lid on it doesn't have a prop for itself, so it folds all the way back. So to put it in somewhere is a pain. The lid is like this thick, so when you have the chest sitting there, it's 9 inches deep. The lid takes another 3.5 inches when it's in the vertical position. The tags for it, they just send you the tags that say Connecticut, Maduro, Sumatra, and Corojo, and they're in the box, and that's great. But there's nowhere to put them. Like you're supposed to glue it on. It's like let's make some removable drop-ins for these, like something to make it so I can move them around as I need to. But the chest is gorgeous, and if you have I have the low humidor cabinets underneath each of the windows, so I have a place to put that chest.
Yes,
but I have that chest sitting there. And I have it propped up over here on the windowsill because I've got Stolen Thrones who has that. And then the other one's taken up because right now I'm featuring Apostate on the one shelf. So I've got all their displays out. So like as more and more people go to this chest style or that style of thing, the less desirable it is for me because I'm just running out of space for it. Now, if you have a shop with a giant island down the middle, which a lot of guys have done, you have places for all those to sit out. But I want to be able to put your product on my standard humidor shelf. And when you take that from me, you're taking away my option of how to set up my own merchandising. So that's where my issue with it is. But as you said, to be fair, when I put it out there,
he's still might to be fair.
Once I put it out on that cabinet and took it off of the shelf it was on, it does get more attention. Yeah. It does help your brand sell the cigars more, and it makes it easier for me. So it's a double edge, but eventually, not too distant future, that chest is going to get put away and it's just going into my standard bins and we'll just let the cigars do the work, because why am I using your bins when I have them built into my cabinets already?
To be fair.
To be fair.
That is a good point, but most of the way that I've seen that chest featured is like people that build their shelves into a wall instead of having the beautiful, expensive cabinets that you have, in which case you could put it on the floor, you could put it on top of other boxes, or even more so, you could just be like, hey, if I take out the screws for the lid on the hinges, then you can utilize it without just as a deep box that holds everything as well. So I'm not going to say they're hitting necessarily everything. Like, maybe some
nobody has it perfected. Yeah, this is,
but that is something that you can adapt to your situation, right? And again, you could just buy bundles if you want to, and fill, take them out of the packaging, display the bundles. I think that's as close to perfect as what I have seen, because it gives you some flexibility.
I think when they came out with it, I would agree with you. But now it's been, Lee for Stolen Thrones has his, whether it's a small box this big, and it's the Toro and the Robusto. Nice, Apostate has theirs where it's the single one, and it's each cigar. So like if you're not carrying this, you can just get it out of your way, or if it's too deep for your shelf, or if you need to split it across 3 shelves. The issue I see coming for them is, as they've released their cigars, the symbol on each one of their cigars, like, so Initiatory's the first one, it's got like a light post or something where the light's shining down. That's the A. Ooh. The Deseret is, it's got a honeycomb sitting there, and that makes the P for Apostate. And so each of it spells it out as you go. So if you do have a cigar from them that doesn't perform well, and you pull that, now you've literally broken the whole thing. Like, now it doesn't spell Apostate. Now it's harder to recognize.
And I'm going to devil's advocate, because it's been a lot of back and forth here. So I'm going to go one on your side. Is very often I see this gigantic chest with the dividers. Yes or no? Sometimes it's empty, but more often than not, there's one of the 4 that is not empty, and you're like, that's not the one I want. Yeah, and so like you have to be able to keep up with being able to refill too. So like that's another aspect to consider. Yeah. And like, you're giving me all these ideas in my head of like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if they did this and did that? And I specifically go to, I don't remember which Macanudo it was, but they like really went like, okay, let's make the Bentley of Macanudos. Yeah. And they did that ridiculous humidor with the built-in battery LED system on it. Yeah. And it looked like quilted on the inside.
Oh, that was the CAO.
Oh, was it CAO?
CAO did it, yeah.
It was incredible, but the price point on the cigar then ended up being way too high, and I don't believe the cigar was quality enough to justify all the rest. Now, if you had like a crazy good product and you have it in some banging
fantastic
humidor
box,
like that, then you're like rolling.
The best one I've seen do that is Rocky Patel with the White Series. The White Series humidor is gorgeous. Absolutely. The white one that Stephanie and Casey have sitting next to the bar, that big white one with the rose gold in it. Okay. So that was a package that came out from Rocky Patel.
Be good.
You bought that, and it came completely full of these White Series, which are not a cheap cigar. I mean, I think they're $20 a piece is what they come out to. So like, you're talking an expensive cigar, and it's not yours or my palate, and I don't think it's Jason's palate either, but it's a ridiculously popular cigar.
Yeah, it's approachable.
And they knocked it out of the park with the cigar for the people that it's designed for. The band on it is absolutely just next level gorgeous. And then they gave you the standard box that comes in is like a heavy wood leather with rose gold inlay, and then they created a whole humidor, which I think was 200 or 500 cigars. And it's amazing too. Drawers, all of it. So like, they got the whole package on that deal, and it's presented really well, but it is niche. So it's for this group. This is who this is for, and it's like, anybody would be happy to get that humidor even without the cigars. but they had the whole packaging just really well done. And that's, I mean, in general, that's Rocky's thing, is their packaging is always fantastic.
One of the things about Rocky is he is so diversified that I think it makes it hard for any one of his particular cigars to be really good and stand out. You know what I mean? Like, I think he's a little bit too much jack of all trades instead of master of one or a few, but he has picked up like that name following, which is great. And I have nothing but respect for that man and what he does for our industry. But there are other examples of cigars that stand out, and I'm not going to mention any names here, but there's a humidor that I specifically ordered for you, waited a long time to get, loved the cigar, saw the picture of the humidor, and was like, man, I need this.
Gorgeous, yeah.
And then you get it, and the functionality and the craftsmanship and quality are all terrible.
Yep. All three of them that came in on that order. I have one of them sitting in there to be repaired. Their build quality was horrific.
It's terrible. The finish is all jacked up on them. They came in still having the aroma of
lacquer
on them.
And there's the one had a fingerprint in the lacquer.
And the locks.
Get out of here.
No, it was bad.
It's a locking humidor with a key, and like that fails very easily. That part is very cheap, and it's like, man, like I thought this was going to be like the bee's knees, because I love this cigar, and I look at the pictures and go like, this packaging is incredible. And it was nothing but a letdown once I got it, and it just sits there.
And that's nothing. Like I said, I've had one of them in the humidor for 3 months waiting on the parts to come in so that I can fix it for them to try and keep the customer relation alive. But, you know, I've gotten away from carrying that brand because of exactly that issue. Like, the cigar is great.
If we would have just been like, nah, screw that cool packaging that you offer that's going to suck when it shows up, and stick with that variety pack that had like a lot of bangers in it and a little bit of everything.
That's a complaint that I have with a lot of brands.
The 5-packs were like legit
sometimes
the way to go.
Because they changed.
Yeah, rotating.
So like I never knew what I was ordering. And I'm like, one time it come in and it's flavored cigars, and the next time it's not. And like,
and a sweet tip's okay. Throw one sweet tip in there, that's fine, right? Because that gives you a little bit of something to try. And then you go, okay, I'm buying another one of these. This one isn't my jam, but it's, if I buy 4 of those 5-packs, I just got a box of cigars with self humidification, right? Easy to travel with, and you got a little bit of something for everybody. So it makes it easy to go like, man, this one isn't really my favorite, but if I buy 4 of these packs, I got 20 cigars. I could smoke it backwards. I could give this to people that come over and maybe are people that are going to want a sweet tip or whatever. It wasn't a bad way to go. No. Speaking of cigars, you have any final thoughts on this one?
Performance on it for me has smoked so incredibly well, and the
construction's great.
I believe this is the cheapest offering from Plasencia.
Really?
Yeah, I think this is their cheapest cigar line.
How many paper Washingtons?
It just had a price increase. I think it's 11. I think 11 or 12.
That's actually like just straight. Like if I was looking at this cigar and just going visually based on competition, I would 100% buy this over a lot of other stuff, because it's got such a good job with the banding and the shape. It's got a nice shape to it without being like, this is going to be too big or this is going to be too small. It's like a really kind of like a Goldilocks style shape to it, and it stands out.
Well, and then in the box itself, it's you know what? I'm just going to grab it while you talk about your thoughts on the cigar. I'll be right back, because
also,
it's easier to show it.
Let's wake Jason up. I'd also like to know your thoughts on the cigar plus the beers.
Oh,
because that is your residency expertise.
So the Plasencia Reserve Original, the 2 beers we had with it again were the Headhunter, which is from Fathead's Brewery, and the Lagunitas IPA. I like how the Lagunitas interacted with the cigar much better than I liked how the Headhunter interacted with the cigar. I got a lot more of those sweet and again, not overly sweet like a sweet tip or a flavored cigar, but it was the actual tobacco itself, those the toasted marshmallow. Like Corey absolutely banged that one. When he caught that. But as far as the cigar goes, like Sam said, the construction was incredible. It smoked great. It was never too powerful, or
you can hand it to pretty much anybody.
This is very like low strength, medium flavor, I would say. Maybe a 6 out of 10. Maybe
at the beginning, I would have said it was a 4 out of 10. Like the first inch and a half of it was real low.
Sure.
And then as it opened up into itself, I'm going to give it that 6 for sure. Like there's a lot going on there, but
she ramped up. She ramped up quite a bit.
That's also a joy of the Figurado.
Yeah,
because
your development is
your ratios change as as your ring gauge does, right?
Yeah.
Which also makes it interesting.
Yeah. So packaging on it.
There we go.
So like the box is
these are 10 counts?
Yeah, 10 count box.
That is a really nice box.
And they've got the backer in there and all that. Beautiful layout.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's like that. This thing sits on the shelf and looks like a super premium. Right?
Yeah, and I mean, and they're a premium brand. It's for sure. I
love that embossed the indented lid on it.
The little bit of bedazzling was nice.
How it's presented in this box is in the box itself, the construction, the feel of it.
The look,
the leather that's on it, and then the rivets, and how it's well done.
Yeah, it's very tactile.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. And
if you were blind, that would be an attractive box. Like there's a lot going on there. There you got depths and braille bumps and all kinds of
I'm not going to where my mind went. But no, even the simple stuff, like you have a top band, the main band, and a foot band on it. And they're consistent enough that it adds to the look of the whole thing, right? Everything's lined up nice.
You know what
Everything
also
is squared away.
Is great about the bands? All of them are easy to remove.
Yes, they all popped right off.
Listen, you put all the bands you want on a cigar, don't make me pull out my X-Acto knife to try to get them off and then destroy the cigar trying to remove your beautiful packaging.
I had a rep come in the other day and give me a sample, and we're sitting here smoking, and I'm sitting here, and they had one of the long foot bands that takes up 2/3 of the cigar. And I'm sitting there and I'm talking to him, and I'm holding it, and I looked at him and I went, "This doesn't bode well for you." And he's like, "What?" I'm like, "This is not cool."
When it looks like it came out of a pencil sharpener, because you have to just go round and round and round and round and round.
Even worse than that, I couldn't find the tab to actually get a hold of it to start taking it off. Like 2 to 3 minutes, I'm sitting there messing with it. Like, guess what? I like your cigar less now. And it was a good cigar, and actually we're gonna carry him eventually. But now I know every time I carry that cigar, I got to help customers figure out how to get this band off to be able to light it. It's not even like I'm enjoying my cigar and I can talk to guys while. No, I'm waiting to smoke because of this stupid band. And it's like, come on, guys. And it does look good, and it is beautiful.
It's good for brownies. Like if you're on a diet, make the brownie packaging very hard to open.
Yeah, I mean, right. You're stopping them from smoking. This should be easy, cut, light, and then you can take it off later. But let me start my journey with this cigar.
Cut, light, strip.
So which of the two was your preferred? And I'm going to ask you next to go with this cigar.
Absolutely, the Lagunitas.
You liked it better with it?
100%. Yeah. Like I said, Corey nailed it with the toasted marshmallow, and the Lagunitas just pulled it right out of there, and it put it right in the front. Ammonia, the ammonia taste, that was a one-time thing. It was more than likely
in your head,
in my head.
Yeah. But that's not to say that it was, but chances are leaning that way.
Name of the episode: Placebos with Plasencia.
So hey, try this. Do a big swig of the Fatheads. The can should have a little bit left in it.
Yeah, it does.
Do a big swig of the Fatheads. Essentially swish it around, but don't swish it around. And then take a large draw off of the cigar immediately afterwards. I want to see if you get that ammonia taste back, because I think I got what you were getting once as well, but it came right after the Fatheads and a big draw. So I'm curious if that was it.
While Jason pontificates about whether or not Sam's accurate on his assessment, I really like.
No, I don't get it.
No, sir.
No.
He didn't like it.
No, he didn't get that same experience
again.
again.
The ammonia.
I was,
and he was looking for it this time. So
the ammonia came after the Lagunitas, which I think there's none left in there, which is fine.
Mr. Horse relates deeply to my heart.
Sorry. So you were trying to lead into something while he was.
So
pondering.
I feel like this is interesting because I feel like you guys were both kind of disappointed with one of the beers in this pairing. And I couldn't disagree with you more because if you were going to try two different drinks with one cigar to experiment with your pairings, having one of them be a standout better is a successful experience.
Right.
Especially with two beers that may not seem entirely far apart until you try them next to the cigar. That is a experiment or a way for you to delve further into the whole experience, and having a clear winner is a successful pairing.
Also, just to bring out something else that we didn't mention, I don't know if Sam has any flavoring, but
I do not.
I guess we had old coffee this morning.
Yes.
When we came in, so we made a couple iced coffees out of it, and I had put the caramel flavoring in mine, and this, man, the coffee, the caramel,
the
and
sweetness,
the sweetness, and it mixed with that cigar. It was good.
All cylinders.
And yeah, it fired on all cylinders. And this is like perfect for today because today is like 70 degrees.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
There's a little breeze out. It's sunny. This is a sit on your porch, have an iced coffee, maybe a little bit of caramel in it, have this cigar, and just listen to the birds chirp, dude.
Yes.
I couldn't disagree with you more. Do not sit on your porch. Go out to the park, man. Go out to the
which park would be good?
Armstrong Park, I think, would pair great with a cigar if you went to Armstrong Park and enjoyed this beautiful weather while also enjoying the acoustic stylings of the lone Strum Junkie today.
You get a really good day to play this show today.
Nick kind of bailed on me and was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I've had a trip planned for a year, and I didn't tell you in the last 6 months since we booked the show."
You know what?
So it's Corey by himself. So come support me. Make me feel less crappy because I'll need it.
If you want, I'll call off work.
Okay.
I'll go buy like one of those little Play School xylophones, and I'll just sit there behind you and play the little Play School xylophone.
You messed up, son. Has anybody seen the reels of like this mom that does like these dope ass like metal songs, like not Korn's like kind of new metal, but there's like all these crazy things she does on the xylophone and changes the lyrics to things about her baby or how messed up her area is since pushing.
Yeah, she'll do like
it's so good.
like Master of Puppets on the xylophone and stuff like that.
She also uses one of these. It's all kid instruments. So like a kid xylophone or an itty bitty like toy piano. And then she has like this like area that has like 4 nails like for kids where you pound it down with the hammer and the other ones come up. And she uses that for her drum set, like her percussion. It is brilliant. This girl is amazing.
So in that reminds me of when I have like family events at the house, when my cousins come over, you know, my wife's there, my sisters and stuff, I'll normally put on it's like lo-fi versions of hip hop songs.
Yeah, I do a lot of lo-fi.
There's not any
think postmodern jukebox, but with children's toys and most of the lyrics being like, okay, it's Bodies by Drowning Pool on these little unassuming kids instruments about blowing up diapers.
But now that puts me on to, there was when my daughter was little, there was a group of people that made metal songs, but they did them as children's lullabies, and there wasn't any words to them or anything. So it's like Master of Puppets on like xylophones and stuff like that, and it's slowed down a little bit to made sound like
so like the kid's sleeping and Jason's in the background going like this.
Well, I used to do that with like headphones. I'd stick like headphones on my wife's belly, and then I'd play like Sepultura.
Just have fun with it. No, so you said her doing bodies, and all I could think was, all right, what would the lyrics be to that? And put the bottles in the sink, put the
something like that. Not quite at all though.
But of all the kids' toy musical performances that have ever existed, nobody beats Jack Black with that saxophone.
Oh,
that wins forever.
Or Conan. It was one of them.
It wins forever. It
was good.
Yeah, I love that one, dude.
Bro.
Oh, it is too.
I like my favorite part of that is when he like looks at it real quick and like cleans off the reed and then goes back into it. It's his physical comedy. Is like behind it. That
1, 2, 3, mother. Bam.
It's one of those that comes up and pops in my reels, and I can never not smile.
Yeah, you have to.
I giggle every time.
So, any upcoming Just the Tip events?
So this Thursday, the 15th, we'll be at 1781. That is open to public, even though it is a semi-private country club. Right over in...
Is that Carroll?
No. Right over the hill here off of Churchill Road. Right up in Peters Township. So...
not affiliated with Churchill area.
No, not the same.
Or Winston.
Yeah. There's a lot of Churchills, actually. But yeah, so... We're going to be doing that on the 15th, and then we have our standard end of the month. We'll be at Liberty Pool Distillery on the last Sunday of the month. I believe it's the 25th this month. So definitely happy to be at 1781's been a lot of fun. Dude, that is now that it's not blazing, oh my God, my face is on fire hot. I'm really excited because the pavilion is gorgeous.
You don't have to cover all of your skin from your ankles to your wrist every day.
Yeah, I do.
Shorts are a reasonable thing sometimes to wear.
Swimming, that's it.
Corey's out here in shorts and a cutoff today.
I'm practically naked, which is why Colby and Pam came, because they were like, I want a reminder of why men are not for me.
That's it. That's points you keep some remembrance.
I am. Listen, if you want to stay lesbian, come hang out and watch us do the show. You'll have lots of reasons. But I am the poster child for why girls are better.
No doubt.
So real quick, one more time. I've got to do it one more time. I've got a solo show, the one and only Strum Junkie. He sits alone, doing all your favorite acoustic music from all eras. Armstrong Park in Baldwin. This event, there's a pavilion there. I'll be set up. However, bringing your own chair is encouraged, like a camp chair. Unless you're down with sitting on one like a pavilion picnic bench. All right, cool. Hopefully they'll all be filled up.
Yeah.
I warned you, bring a chair.
Bring a chair.
Gonna have Cold Friends Kitchen. Has what I understand to be the best barbecue pork belly in the city. You got Vellum fermentation, so we got local beer, and then you got Beatles ice cream. It is family friendly, which was one of the things that like some people told me like I never even considered. Usually I play at bars and cigar places and stuff like that. Like, no, this is a family friendly outdoor environment. There's a park. It's going to be a great time. Come hang out with us. And 4 to 7 p.m. Message me if you need more direct details. We will be hanging out next Sunday.
There you go.
At 9:30.
Yes.
Not an early show, normal scheduled time. We're going to be smoking the Gorilla 305, which I'm kind of dreading because Sam thought we were smoking that today. And he was not enthusiastic, but we'll see.
It's nothing against the cigar. It's just not my style at all. That's all.
That's all right.
Yo, you remember the Limp Bizkit Gorilla tour? Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, Limp Bizkit wasn't my jam.
Oh.
No. He didn't want to break stuff or not even $3 bill, y'all.
Nope. Limp Bizkit was not my
Dude, how do you not like Faith?
I mean, it is what it is. I was more into like Korn and Deftones and stuff like that. That was okay. George Michael's great. They covered a George Michael song.
Fantastic.
So
Spring Break meets Offensive meets nothing original. I guess I don't know something.
So again, we haven't mentioned yet. Well, we did a little earlier in the podcast, but if you are still listening. Yes, if you're still listening,
we love you.
We do love you. Absolutely love you. We would really, 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 really appreciate that if you would like, subscribe, and share.
On which platform?
All of the platforms. YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, wherever the hell else we post this stuff.
Yeah.
He's like, I never looked myself.
But again, liking the video, it doesn't cost you anything, and it means the world to us. Commenting, again, even if it's just like, hey, you guys are great, or hey, you guys are terrible. It doesn't cost you anything but a couple seconds of your time. And
Let us know how much we suck.
Yep, it means the world to us. And sharing, if you can if you like the product and the podcast and the show we put out to you guys, please share it with your friends. It is, again, I'll beat a dead horse here. It costs you nothing, but it means the world to us.
In the arms of... Say the thing before we get kicked for copyright infringement.
Oh, you want me to play the outro?
I'll tell him to say the thing. You push the button. That's how how it
Salut.
works. Yeah.
Bye, folks.